Welcome to Oilers Nation Every Day with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
But according to Section 69, Table 14 of the rule book, Nathan MacKinnon shouldn't have been ejected. Fuck the rule book. The Oilers are back. Let's get into it with the lead. Bang. Ooh, I actually did hit it.
You nudged it.
I nudged it a little.
Damn,
I nudged it. Welcome in.
Heavy paper.
Oilers Nation every day live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online at sportscloset.ca. 3 locations in the Edmonton area. St. Opera Mall, Sherwood Park Mall, Kingsway Mall. We are also a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Tyler and Liam with you on a victory edition of the program. Liam, giddy up. The Edmonton Oilers roll into the Mile High City and head on out of there with 2 points in tow. That was a successful night, and it has people, as I drove in today, many people are saying, Liam, many people are saying that the Edmonton Oilers are back.
It's got to be cardstock, no?
How thick that paper is?
I can't believe you nudged the camera.
I just stole it from the printer downstairs.
God,
It's just because
we're doing well here as a company. If that paper is nudging a camera, my goodness. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Clearly, Oilers Nation is back too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're using. But the Oilers won. The Avalanche cheated. And everyone cried about it last night. If you ask me, never in doubt.
Well, there's a lot of storylines that we need to talk about today on the show. Like plenty for us to get into, Liam. We're going to be joined by Stephen Ellis at 12:30, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm excited to have Stephen on the show.
You always are.
For many reasons. I love Stephen. He's a great guest, great guy. Go over a bit of college free agency. I think last time I put him on the spot a little bit, and he only had the one name off the top of his head. Mm-hmm. But now he's come a bit more prepared. I hope there's one name on the list. There's 2 names. Only because I know they would come. Mm-hmm. Boston Buckberger, former Brooks Bandit, Lincoln Star, plays at the University of Denver, just named to the NCDC all-second team, second all team, whatever they call it. And the other one is Grant Luczynski. A bit of backstory with Grant Luczynski. Did sign with the Sherwood Park Crusaders out of the USHL. Mm-hmm. But that was then COVID happened. They ever ended up coming. But his dad is from Manitoba.
Did COVID happen?
Well, it depends who you ask. So I think he would be a good one. He's a centerman from Western Michigan. I think he was a captain, also named to one of those teams.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Steven sent me the list of the 10
and
players.
None of those guys.
Neither of those guys are on it.
Boston's only a junior, so he might stay another year.
Okay.
Grant, not a junior, senior. He's on the list.
You're going to find out at 12:30 when Stephen Ellis joins us.
Give me one.
TJ Hughes.
I knew he was going to be on the list.
That pesky Brooks Bandit organization. Well,
I don't know if they want TJ Hughes.
I don't know either. We'll find out from
He's
Stephen.
He's a good player.
We'll find out from Stephen Ellis. He's going to join us at 12:30. Then we're going to play a little Is It Cake, as we do every week. We were going to do it yesterday, but we pushed it to today. So Is It Cake coming up a little bit later on. I got some hard-hitting questions for you for Is It Cake, Liam. But first...
I didn't actually open the prep sheet today, which is not a good thing.
Well,
so I actually don't know what this is going to be.
I prepped all the questions for Stephen.
Oh, I've got some.
I gave him a heads up on a couple of them just so he could be real dialed in.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. First game recap. That game was just an absolute shout out to our friends in Calgary. That game last night was a barn burner.
Yeah, it was. And everyone got injured. Like the Oilers obviously lost Ty Emerson and Colton Dock. Ross Colton got injured on the Colorado side. Obviously Connor Ingram left the game. Nathan MacKinnon left the game. It was weird because while it was a physical game, I don't think it ever got like overly dirty by any means. Obviously there was the 5-minute major and we'll get into that.
Had a real playoff vibe to it.
But yeah, like I enjoyed it. I thought it was a tight game. I thought the skill was on full display for both teams.
Yep.
I thought it was a very exciting game and honestly had me on the edge of my seat. I jumped up when McDavid scored.
Really?
I did. I gave a let's fucking go and I high-fived my fiance and she's like, wow, you like that one? And I stood by the TV and got a flyby.
You stood and waited for McDavid to come by.
Yeah, I got it.
Atta boy. That's a big hit right now with my nephew.
flybys.
As he's starting to, like he watches more hockey and he loves playing mini sticks. He always wants me to be the goalie, and then he'll score on me. We're the only two ones in the basement. He scores on me because you got to let him score.
Of course.
And he also wants me to. He wanted me to announce it the other day. He says you have to say I scored. So he scores, and then he wants to hug a teammate, but I'm the only one in the basement. So he scores on me. I'm the announcer, and then he hugs me.
Damn.
I'm really filling a lot of roles with him right now. Anyways, our game recap.
Such a talented actor.
He is. Or I am, yeah. Our game recap is a presentation of Derek Dodge. It's the beginning of a new chapter for Derek Dodge. They are under new ownership, bringing a fresh approach, new energy, and a renewed focus on customer experience. And right now, you can see it at the bottom of your screen. You buy now, you go to Las Vegas. When you leave the lot with your new vehicle, flights and accommodations for a trip for two to Vegas are on them. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, they do it all, and they got a deal right now that is tough to beat. Derek Dodge, visit them in person, 6211 104th Street Northwest, or online at derekdodge.com. Let's try to go through this in about as best of a chronological order as we can.
You want to do it like that?
Yes. Ross Colton scores 32 seconds in on a wrist shot from the blue line that deflects off Darnell Nurse,
Classic.
and I immediately go, well, this might be 9-1 again.
I didn't even have the TV on yet. Like, I was kind of getting set up. I just finished making my dinner. I was like, yeah, I'll get the game on. As I was opening it up on the Sportsnet app, it just said 1-0. Like, I literally turned it on at like 18:47, and they were down 1-0. But I think the Oilers actually responded fairly well, to be fair. But, I mean, I'm sure we all thought of one occasion that has happened this season after that goal went in.
Yeah, that first one goes in. And again, I'll be honest, I was just sitting there being like, well. And then you see how it goes in, too, and it's like, initially, you're like, God damn it, Ingram needs to have that. And then you watch the replay and you're like, God, deflects, but like it doesn't deflect all that much. It was a very, very frustrating start. But the Oilers' power play comes through in that first period. And we talked about this yesterday. Like, and this is maybe a bigger conversation to have during the show. If the Oilers are going to continue to be like a painfully average 5-on-5 even strength hockey team, then their superpowers have to be, there's even more pressure on their superpowers to be their superpowers. And their power play is their greatest strength. So on the night, they go 2 for 4, which is maybe a little bit of a fraudulent 2 for 4, considering there is a 5-minute major in there. But again, we can talk about that later. The first Nuge goal, an absolute beauty. Connor McDavid's 74th assist. Evan Bouchard gets on the board as well. First of 2 goals for one Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who had himself a very good game and is up to 17 on the season now, Liam.
Yeah, the crucial goal for them as well. I thought in that first period, the Oilers...
You couldn't have gone down 2-0.
No, certainly not. The Oilers had really 2 chances in the first period, and they scored on both of them.
Yeah.
And I'm looking here, too. The first period was actually the only period, according to Natural Static, the Oilers were high danger chanced.
You are correct on
which
that.
is good. They finished the game 9-5 in favor of Edmonton, but Colorado had more scoring chances for, I guess. Not sure how that really works, but either way. I thought the Oilers played a mature game yesterday. There was a couple of spots where I was like, you got a little messy here, and I think that's right as Nugent scored. I thought that. But I think, they didn't let that first goal from Colton phase them, and they just continued on throughout. I thought it was a very professional effort. Yesterday,
we spent a lot of time talking about how absolutely putrid the Colorado Avalanche power play is.
Yes. Well, to be fair, Savoie got the assist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that. It wasn't like a pretty power play goal, but like, again, for the Oilers to... I don't want to say gift them because, again, it's a power play goal or whatever. I'm watching it back again one more time right now. Still, again, frustrating that you let their power play kind of get you one. But
I know, in the moment, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, this is the way the Oilers are going to lose this game by allowing this power play to become a factor in it when it's just not on most nights for the Avalanche, despite the talent they obviously have. But, again, they responded really, really well. Leon Draisaitl was unbelievable yesterday.
Yeah, that pass he made in front to Roslovic was an absolute beauty. Under 30 seconds to go, Jack Roslovic ties the game off a great feed by Leon. Again, sometimes goals, it's important that you score them, but it's important when you score them.
Yeah.
Getting that one right at the end of the period. So you go into the intermission and you think, okay, we gave him the power play goal. The first one was a shitty bounce. And maybe even though it wasn't your best hockey, you're going, whoa, we're tied at 2. And I think the Oilers came out, and that second period, Liam, again, there's probably been better periods this year, but in recent memory, I can't remember them playing a better stretch of 20 minutes this season. Yeah. Like, dominating possession. They were taking it to the Avs, and the only thing that was making me nervous through this whole stretch when they were dominating in the second period, they had that power play opportunity when the game 14-34, they were up by 1. Nuge had already scored. They're up by 1. They have been pouring on the pressure for like 5 minutes here, and they miss. And they have a really, not just miss, they have a bad power play. And they don't generate a lot. It seems like they're overpassing. It seems like after, again, dominating play for a pretty long stretch, they got a power play and thought, nice, we can kick up our feet. We're going to score a real pretty one, and away we go. And on the night, their power play goes 2 for 4. But in that moment, and then coming off the 5-minute power play, like, I know there were people that were kind of dunking on my tweet and all of that stuff. I think in the moment, when you watch those 7 minutes of power play time that the Oilers had, they barely generated a quality look in 7 minutes on the power play, up by 1 on the road with a chance to bury the Colorado Avalanche, and they looked pedestrian for basically the entire 7 minutes. That's frustrating to me because, again, if they are going to be a pedestrian 5-on-5 team, there is no excuse for them to not be capitalizing on. If they missed on 2 straight minors, like, okay, 7 minutes of power play time over the course of like 9 minutes of game time. Like, you need to find a way to finish something off there. It was 11 minutes of game time.
And obviously they ended up getting one, but I know you said all that before.
Oh, yeah, and then they get one on the next power play. But on that next power play, what are they doing? They're moving with urgency. Yeah. And it was like a really pretty, like, give and go kind of play, but like it was Connor McDavid passing the puck, screaming to the net, and then shooting the damn thing, which was my whole beef with the other power plays, is that they just kept passing it around the perimeter and thinking, oh, we need to seam this perfectly. Connor only wants to pass to Leon. They were in that whole kind of zone that they get into that isn't conducive to being the best power play in the NHL. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And you're right. Like, as pretty as that McDavid goal was, and it was unbelievable from both of them. I think they both did a bit of a spinorama. It was fairly simple hockey as well. Get the puck to the guy, moving his feet pass
to the net.
And move.
Yeah, pass and move. It's pretty straightforward stuff. But like,
in the middle of the ice, too. Like, again, they love the perimeter, and they're a great power play. Like, on the year as a whole, no problem. Last night, there were some very frustrating moments 100%. Because that you're up already. It's like, do not squander this.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's okay to criticize the power play.
Yes.
Like, I know it's first in the NHL, but in that moment alone, you had an incredible opportunity to put your foot on the neck of the Colorado Avalanche. And I think throughout the season, there's been these moments where games have drifted away. I think back to a long time ago when they blew the lead in Dallas. I think they were up 3-1. They had a great opportunity just to keep pushing, and they didn't. And there's been, again, numerous times throughout, and that was a long time ago. I think it was mid-November, whatever it was. But still, like, it was still a moment in the season, and they haven't fully learned from it, but they did last night, I thought, with the second power play. But you're right, in that moment, like, you have to have the killer instincts. Like, we have to score. You probably have to get 2.
Yeah.
I always think back, and this was like different circumstances, but do you remember when San Jose got that major in the playoffs against Vegas?
Oh,
and they scored 4 goals on a power play.
I think, 3 or 4 or something crazy.
They ended up
like
winning the game from that
5-minute major, I'm thinking the Oilers are scoring minimum 1. That's 2.5 power plays. They score every 3 power plays.
I was thinking last night, I was like, if you get one in the first minute and a half here, you give your second unit time to come on, and then you can play basically the last 3 minutes with just your top unit, 2.5, whatever you want to do. But they just didn't get the opportunity. They had some chances. Sure, I think Mackenzie Blackwood should get some credit for the chances the others got. He did make some good saves, but I still think you should be able to score. Especially, my dad sent me a scouting report on Blackwood yesterday. Get in tight, aim high. And that's exactly what happened on the first 3 goals. And
did he send that before the game?
Oh, he sent it to me after the second goal.
Well, yes. Then that was apparent.
Yes. But
you get partial marks, Tony.
But, they didn't do that on that second power play. To me, that says, like, get Hyman in front, get the puck moving, and just get some shots on net and see if you can get some tips.
Yeah. My final point on the power play and why I was frustrated. And again, I think some of that is, listen, I tweet during the game. And things change. And if you all want me to be my authentic self on Twitter, that is how I'm reacting and feeling as the game goes on.
That's sports. You can't, what's the word? You can't be like, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because something changed in a live event.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's a good thing that the Oilers got that goal, but they also had a 5-minute major and didn't score.
The Oilers had 7 minutes and 27 seconds of power play time on ice and only generated 0.69 expected goals for. They had 6 shots in those 7 minutes and 27 seconds, only 1 attempt from a high danger area, and it was the one that went in.
We should talk about
the Nuge goal, I guess, too.
How the major came about.
So let's get into that, because I knew this was going to be a big conversation, but I wanted to get some other things out of the way first. Lastly, though, that Connor McDavid winner was just an absolute thing of beauty.
Beautiful.
God damn it, we're so lucky to watch Connor McDavid. I love him so much.
Best player in the world, not even close.
Not even close, because the other guy who's in the
Can't
conversation...
even stay on the ice.
Yeah, what the hell? Nate, you got to play the full game. Nathan MacKinnon ejected after running into Connor Ingram. When I came into the office today, Liam's sitting in our downstairs office.
We have an office now.
We do have an office now. It's a very big moment for us. Liam's sitting there. I almost walk right past him. And you go, hey, I'm in here. I turn around. You are Control F ripping through the NHL rulebook. You did your homework today.
I tried. It's hard to... Were you done, sir?
Well, I was just going to say, after digging in the rulebook for as long as you did, do you understand why the review of this penalty took 10 minutes? Were you sympathetic to the officials who were trying to figure this out in real time?
Yes, I think I am. For one reason. Well, two reasons. Goalie interference is always a gray area. I think any call in the NHL, like, you really don't know what's going to happen. I think one thing everyone will agree upon is the contact made on Connor Ingram was heavy and reckless. Whether it was McKinnon's fault because he went into the crease or because he got hit by Nurse, there's no doubt Darnell Nurse hit him, which I think this is why it took the refs so long to find a decision, because, yes, the reason he hit him, MacKinnon hit Ingram, is because Nurse made contact with him.
Yeah.
But also, too, you can't just run the goalie like that. Like, Ingram was cut. The first image we saw of him was blood on the ice.
Yeah.
And I think the refs took it into consideration that Ingram was injured and had to leave the hockey game and did not return. Knobloch said after the game the concussion spotter said he could not come back, but he felt okay. But also, we'll see what happens in the morning, being today. So we'll see.
I mean, concussions are a thing. He could wake up today and not be okay.
Totally. So here's what I found. And this is the only rule that I could really come across that kind of made sense a little bit. The contact by the attacking player with the goaltender is other than incidental. The attacking player, in the judgment of the referee, did not make a reasonable effort to avoid contact. However, no goal is scored on this play. As a result, a minor or a major penalty is assessed up to the appropriate amount and could include supplemental discipline. I don't think MacKinnon deserves anything more than what he got yesterday by any means. If we can put a poll in, Aaron, maybe see what people think. Just put like 5 minute, 2 minute, no penalty. I think this had to be a penalty, but I don't know how the officials can sit there. And I was trying to spin it the other way too, of like, what if this was McDavid? I think you got to call a major. I think the fact that Ingram was injured, the fact that how aggressive it was, I just don't think you can set that tone in a hockey game. And I don't think the game was getting out of hand by any means. And I don't think that had any impact on the call. I just think the outcome of Ingram determined the outcome of McKinnon's fate. What do you think?
I want to give, I did DFO Live this morning with Steve Peters, and he had a really good video breakdown, as he does, and he kind of outlined a few things. So, Aaron, if we have it, I'd like to play it, because I think it shows a couple of really important things here. So here's obviously, like, it looks so violent, but watch, like, right here. Look at where his body's leaning. He's actually, like, leaning away from Ingram, and this angle really does show, watch, his feet actually you can tell he's trying to pull himself away from Ingram. So I do think Nate has a case that he's trying to get out of the way. And look at his skates. His skates are going east-west here and starting to turn away. He does not hit Ingram as violently if Darnell Nurse doesn't clip him. Agreed. I think that is a fair and accurate thing to say. This first instinct where the ref is, bang, arm shoots up, got to call a major because I think a guy's hurt. Watching this replay and this angle of it, not that they have the ability to slow it down and move things, but like, look at where his skates are going. Like, actually, Aaron, I don't know if we can go back and then pause it right there.
Looking at his feet. That's where you want me to look at.
Yeah, I want you to watch his feet here and then pause it like right as he comes through. A little bit longer, right when it comes back here is where I want to pause. He's not hitting Ingram on that line right before Nurse clips him.
And I don't think this is Nurse's fault either that he
Nope.
ended up in the goal. I think it's just contact was made.
So where I felt sympathetic for the officials here is, one, I don't think it's lost on anybody in the moment that this is the Colorado Avalanche best player. And it's a tight game. And you are debating an ejection for their best player. That, you can say whatever you want. In the psyche of an official, I guarantee you that is why this review took 10 minutes.
I think so too.
If this was a fourth liner on the Avs, I think they would have been very quick to be like, gonzo. But I think when you're a ref, you're sitting there going like, okay, do we trust that Nate's not going to do shit like this? Like, that's probably why the review took 10 minutes. So the collision looks very, very violent. I know people are saying Nurse played the puck, but he still clipped him.
Yeah, he did. And Nurse, I think, was the one who touched the puck. But like again, this is not Nurse's fault. He just went to make a play. And so did MacKinnon, and they just made contact.
And I think where I ultimately come out on this is, no way that's the real. Okay, anyways. Did you see who commented? That just threw me out. That froze me. Where I come out on this, Liam, is you need to protect goalies, and there was an injury on the play. And that injury was a result of MacKinnon going recklessly to the net.
Yeah.
He did not have a clear lane to attempt a scoring opportunity without crashing into the blue paint because Darnell Nurse took that lane away. MacKinnon took the chance on trying to aggressively or recklessly cut towards the blue paint to get a goal. And when you do something that is reckless, you open yourself up to having to deal with the consequences. If MacKinnon wanted to make the correct play, he goes behind the net there, right? But like, that's not how Nathan MacKinnon's wired. That's all of that stuff. So whatever.
But it's a heavy game, and he's good at it.
Yeah, and he's good at it. But like, again, if you're going to make a reckless play, you're taking an opportunity that something like this, you're taking a risk that something like this happens. So like, what I was stunned in the moment they kept it at 5 just because I did not think the NHL and the refs were going to do that. Waking up today and watching this, I'm more on the side of, you know what? I think he kind of did deserve the 5 because and I don't buy they need to control the game thing. I don't think if you gave him 2, I don't think Vasily Podkolzin's putting his head down and smoking Mackenzie Blackwood on the next shift. That's not really how the NHL works anymore. This isn't like the 80s. So I don't buy that. But I do think you have to protect goalies in the NHL. And if you start giving guys the out of like, you can barrel, like there's contact on basically every play in the NHL.
Totally.
And I do think, again, on this one, Nurse does move him. So Nate has a case and an argument to make. But if you start giving guys the out that you can barrel at full speed towards the crease, and as long as you're nudged a little bit, you're good and you're free game, that is a dangerous, dangerous precedent to set in the NHL. So they had to give him 5. I think waking up this morning, the refs ultimately did make the right call. I understand the frustration from Avalanche fans. I understand the frustration from Nate MacKinnon. But they injured a player on a play where Nate was reckless. Recklessly going into a play that resulted in an injury, that's 5 to me. I don't know, again, you read through the minutia of the rule book, but like...
What a difficult rule book.
Yeah. It is very in-depth and thorough, which I guess it has to be. But like, you protect goalies and you punish someone who injured an opposing player in a reckless play. Okay? That checks a lot of boxes in my brain for a major.
I think if Ingram stays in the game, he doesn't. It's not 5.
If Ingram pops right back up, it's just 2.
Yeah, and I think that would be fair. But also, too, the other comment that's kind of been getting me a little bit. Farron, you can just play it one more time. I think we're still good. The idea that he was trying to get out of the way, and like, I don't think that. Can you just play the thing?
Oh yeah.
I don't think that Nathan MacKinnon is doing this on purpose by any means. He's trying to make a play on the puck, but like, there's no way he can get out of the way. It's too quick. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, look, he tries to jump. It's like, no, he just hit him and had to go down because his legs came out from underneath him. And that argument from the Colorado side to me was just like, if this is what they're referring to, that he tried to jump over the goals, and no, he didn't. He just went right through him. And I thought Bednar's comments were crazy, to be honest.
Do we have them?
Yeah, we do. I just want to say, like, are we ignoring the fact that he's just flying through the blue paint? Like, where
like,
Connor
I don't
Ingram
know.
is fully protected. Sure, he's maybe trying to avoid him. He is going through the middle of the blue.
Yep.
I mean, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's something that could happen.
And that was kind of my point too, is like, he put himself in a spot where his angle was blue paint. Like, again, he's trying to finish off a pass, and I get that, but like, there was maybe a safer way for MacKinnon to go about it, but that's not how he plays. But when you play like that, that's the risk. Like Tom Wilson gets himself in trouble hitting guys in the head because he's always trying to lay very violent and vicious hits. And the byproduct of that is sometimes you make a great play and hit a guy and change momentum of a game. Sometimes you catch a guy too high and you get suspended or get a major.
And accidents happen. And I think Knobloch said that in his postgame.
Yeah, it wasn't dirty.
He didn't mean to.
Degree,
it was clearly it was obvious he didn't mean to do that, but it happened. But do we have the bed knock clip?
Yeah, let's play it.
Oh.
Why does that keep happening? Here you go.
I check the overhead first. He's going to go where his toes are pointed, and they're going through the top of the crease with Ingram in the bottom of the crease until Nurse makes contact with him, and that's what causes a collision. So to me, that's like I'm looking at that right away. I don't care if he's injured, not injured. It's a severe crash, not a severe crash. It's not a penalty. If you put guys in your own goalie, it's not a penalty. That's the way I see it. Even in the third period, like I'm not going to make it about officiating, but it's part of the game. And like you were shorthanded, taking slashes, and it's not called. We're going to look away. Then Nelson dances a guy in the neutral zone and gets tripped. Like that's what the penalties are for.
Those comments at the end, sorry, just on the refs, they missed one call.
Yeah.
And like slashes happen to every player. McDavid must get 4 or 5 against him a game. The Brock Nelson one was a missed call. They should have called that.
Yes.
But they also missed the clear cross-check to Kasperi Kapanen's head after he got called for a penalty, or for a hawk. I think that should have been a penalty too. But like, whatever. The penalties ended up 4-3 in favor of Edmonton. Granted, they got a 5-minute major.
Yeah.
But I thought the penalties that were called were pretty clear. And to say it's not a penalty is crazy. It's at least a 2-minute penalty.
Yeah, like he put himself in a spot where contact with the goalie was inevitable.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's maybe my final take. MacKinnon puts himself in a spot where contact with the goalie is inevitable. The severity of that contact is influenced by Darnell Nurse.
Yes.
But Nathan MacKinnon still put himself in that spot.
Yeah. And Connor Ingram got injured. He did.
Yeah.
And that has to be a part of this as well.
Like, this wasn't a guy who laid on the ice and then was back 2 shifts later.
No. He did not. He wasn't allowed to come back under rule protocol, NHL protocol.
He got hit in the head so hard that he was bleeding and the concussion protocol had to pull him out.
I couldn't believe it I actually was quite worried. I thought he got cut maybe on his hand.
I did too.
But yeah, in a way, fortunate that it was his forehead, I guess. But yeah, I thought it was a lot worse. But yeah, bad call. Bad call, bad play.
Scale of 1 to 10. How nervous were you when Tristan Jarry came in the game?
Incredibly. Especially after they
almost scored immediately. Great
and he
save.
swung 5 feet out of his net.
I know, like he
somehow.
wasn't even in the net, and they made it, and it was a good save, don't get me wrong, but I thought that puck was left on the goal line, and I thought Nichushkin was tapping it in, but to be fair to him, I thought he played a really solid third period, and there's a couple of layers to it. One, that's a harsh stat line, isn't it, on
Ingram?
On Ingram. I thought he played well in the game. 882, by the way, his final save percentage.
Yikes. Oh, well. That's why we hate save percentage.
Yeah. I think that Jarry came in, did a good job. I also think the team played very well in front of him. Structurally, didn't really allow too many breakdowns, if any. Like Colorado in the third period had one high danger chance, and I would suspect it wasn't even the goal they got. That was a high danger chance. That was just a good tip. You kind of can't really leave guys wide open in the middle of the ice. But obviously they were missing MacKinnon, but hopefully this can be good for Jarry, build him a bit of confidence.
Yeah, and I mean, he's likely going to have to get the start tomorrow. We'll see how Ingram feels, but like we might be in a world where we see Calvin Pickard recalled on an emergency basis.
Yeah.
Like, I think, honestly, if you're starting Jarry tomorrow, I think you are probably doing the Pickard thing regardless and just giving Ingram the day off. Unless you want him to like simulate getting ready for a game and like see how he handles it. But like, I don't know, man. Head injuries are like pretty spooky.
There's one comment there from Troy. He said Nurse also didn't push him into Ingram. Mac went through Nurse's head. I'm surprised Nurse didn't also get taken out of the game.
Yeah,
because that was
basically
a knee to the side of the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, I knew that happened, but I never really considered it in my argument. But yeah, goalies, we'll see. No, wise Kyle. Connor Ingram is not getting called up from the ECHL.
That's such a damning screenshot.
Goodness.
Nurse is like crumpled.
Oh, but Nurse was the reason he went in.
Hip bone.
After he took his head off.
Hip bone to the side of his
took
head.
2 Oilers players' heads off, and his Avalanche fans being like, not a major. You could give one for kneeing. Right to the skull. Should have been given 10 minutes in majors.
Actually, you know who said it really, really eloquently? Our friend Waz yesterday. Who
Matthew?
tweeted...
Elegantly? Matthew?
So he says, some fans are blaming Nurse. He was trying to cut the passing lane, didn't see MacKinnon coming in until the last minute, and also got domed by Mac.
Wow.
That's an interesting word to use, Matt
He
Wozniak.
can co-host for the next couple of days, maybe.
Okay. I believe our guest is here. He is. He's always ready to go. Stephen Ellis is our guest today, and our guest line is also a presentation of your Prairie Toyota dealers. Looking to dominate off the ice as much as your team does on it? Hello, Oilerback. Check out the Toyota Tacoma. Its standard I-Force engine boasts an impressive towing capacity of up to 6,400 pounds. In fact, it's the most powerful Tacoma ever, so whether you're hauling gear to the rink or heading to an away game, you can tackle it with ease. The available panoramic multi-terrain view monitor gives you a live underfloor view to navigate even the toughest terrain with ease when it's time to load up. The available power liftgate makes loading your gear in and out in a cinch that much easier. Experience power, capability, and convenience with the Toyota Tacoma. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer during Red Tag Days from March through May. Stephen Ellis from dailyfaceoff.com. Stephen Ellis, you are a goaltender. Let me ask you about the hot debate around the hockey world today. Did Nate MacKinnon deserve 5?
I would go 2. That's what I would have done.
Okay.
I don't think anyone was blameless in it, but at the same time, I don't know, 5 minutes for that. That felt like I didn't actually watch the end of the game. I fell asleep at that point, so I can't say how the rest of the game went from that, but I could say that just didn't feel like a 5 minute to me, personally.
It just feels like it was a 5 because Ingram got hurt.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the reason why it ended up being a 5.
Yeah, like I don't love the idea of a player getting a penalty just because the other guy got hurt, and like I've gotten hit in the head a bunch of times, so I'm really sensitive on any contact towards the head, but I don't know. The double HF would have 100% kicked him out. I'll just say that.
Double IHF would have banned him for life. They would have executed public execution.
Except at this recent Olympics, they seem to have not cared about head contact whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny that the NHL had way more influence on this Olympic Games, and it was missed too many men calls, clear other calls that were missed, and they were the NHL. So, oh, good. And now we're back into the swing of things.
Yeah. Stephen, let's get into a whole bunch of things we want to talk to you about, including your upcoming list of the college UFA crop for this season. But I wanted to start by asking you a bit about Matt Savoie. Again, you would have been watching him as he came up through junior. You would have been watching him as he developed the last couple of years. He's really come into his own over the last couple of weeks here, basically since the Olympic break ended. And I had someone point out to me, they're like, hey, if you watched him at other levels, this isn't uncommon for him to take some time to get used to things and then just kind of snap. He's a totally different player. What have you made of the way he's developed this year at the NHL level?
I've been really happy with it. I think when you look at a guy that's got that much skill and was always good at every single level, he was one of my favorite prospects for years. I think it felt like it was just a matter of time until he figured it out. And if he didn't necessarily figure it out right away this year, he's still a young guy that you're hoping for 2, 3, 4 years down the line could be a big difference maker. But there was that one stretch where it felt like he was taking a million shots on net, and I want to say it was November, and just nothing was going in. It wasn't working, but he was getting these opportunities. And like you mentioned, right after that Olympic break, it was he had a 3-point game first game back, and then he had a 2-point the next night. So this is a player that boasts a lot of confidence. He's been so good at every level. I think he just needed to be in a situation where he didn't have to feel like his roster spot was on the line every single night. If he made a mistake, and he can kind of refocus. And that's the thing about guys who put up a ton of points. It's when they're not playing a ton of minutes. If they're playing 11 or 12 minutes a night and they're not producing, it can easily get to their head, and their confidence can get shattered a little bit. But it feels like right now he's playing with a ton of that. Probably could get 15 goals, over 30 points when the season's done with. That's pretty solid numbers for a guy that, he's 22. He's not the youngest prospect in the world, but he's still a smaller guy trying to navigate the NHL. So I've been happy with his game overall.
Noki just put in our chat, Savoie is like Yamamoto, and I don't think they mean that in a negative comment, but I think it should also be considered that Matt Savoie is a lot more skilled than what Kylie Yamamoto ever was.
Yeah, I think the similarities are that they're small. But like Matt Savoie can penalty kill. He's elite defensively. And sometimes, Steven, you follow every prospect as they come to the league. Sometimes those guys who thrive on the defensive side of things and all that, sometimes they just take a little bit longer to get used to the game.
Yeah, and for Savoie, he's kind of heard about the fact that he's kind of smaller. He's going to have to use his speed at the next level to dominate. He's heard that his whole life. At one point, we were talking about him being the next real special player and a guy that was going to be just so dangerous in 22. And he probably would have gone top 5 if he was 6 foot. There were a lot of that was drafting with a tape measure, because then you go and watch him in the WHL and putting up those numbers. But it's one thing when you're on a loaded team, like he was often with Winnipeg, or then when he went to Moose Jaw, where he's surrounded by other quality players. That's one thing to dominate your peers. It's another to do that at the next level in the NHL. But it feels like going to in Buffalo, he was going to be buried in that lineup. And I know that sounds kind of weird because he went to Edmonton, a team that heading into the season was a much deeper, much stronger team. But in Buffalo, he probably was not going to be a full-time NHL player this year. In Edmonton, he's had the bit of flexibility. He's got this experience of playing center. He could play the wing, and he uses his speed to be a very effective forward. So yeah, I do think that he's going to actually be probably maybe a 50, 60 point guy moving forward, but you're going to be really happy with that. And that's a guy that you need that scoring depth.
Why? I know this might seem like a random one, but why did Zach Benson become a better prospect, I guess you could say, than what Savoie did? Because they were never, Savoie was always better than him growing up, and they're both small players. For those who don't know, they both played on Winnipeg, but Zach Benson just seems to have flourished in the NHL, and he got there a lot quicker as well.
Yeah, well, see, with Benson, that one was interesting because it felt like he was getting rushed to the NHL. For me, I still thought he should have played in the World Juniors that year and focused on just, he was still so young, but he was a guy I really believed in, because I think for him, it's the hockey sense was just a level above most other players his own age. And yeah, he's 5'10", I believe the same size as Savoie. But I feel like with him, going out and watching him, it just there's so many times you go into one-on-one situations where the other player might be a much better name. You might be going up against Cale Makar. You might be going against a stronger defenseman, but it feels like he's often able to just outthink them, just quick moves. He knows when to bail on the play and just get the puck somewhere else. I feel like for him, it's just that hockey sense. I don't like using the word elite to describe pretty much anybody, because that should be reserved for the Connor McDavids of the world. But it truly feels like Zach Benson just is a smarter overall player, always looking at least one step above everybody else at every level he's ever played. So that's kind of where it feels like that was kind of the separating. I think Savoie had maybe more natural skill, but Benson was just a better hockey sense.
Right. I wanted to ask you, because it's college UFA season, before we look ahead, let's look back. Quinn Hutson last year, when the Oilers signed him, we had you on, and not that you weren't a fan of the player, but you kind of said you had questions about his upside. I think that would probably be fair if I'm remembering that conversation correctly. This season, he's gone and just put up crazy good numbers in the American Hockey League. And listen, this fan base, there are portions of it that have really fallen in love with the player. People were telling Liam and I, there's no way you can trade him at the deadline. The reason Liam and I kind of throw caution to the fan base is he's putting up these numbers in the American League. You have to remember he's 24. This is not a 19 or 20-year-old doing this. So with all of that being said, has Hudson's success at the American League level this season, has it changed your view on him at all?
I know I saw some people debating about whether he could be a full-time top 6 guy in the NHL going forward. And it's no, never. I don't think that's his type of thing. But I will say that his overall game has taken huge steps forward. I remember watching him closely when he was at Leafs development camp a couple years ago, and just he doesn't feel like he ever wants to be evolved away from the puck. He was always watching, but that's not been an issue for him in the AHL or even in his little brief in the NHL action. And if you look in the AHL this year, he's, I think, 8th. I looked earlier among U25 scoring. So that's pretty good. He is among other guys like Jacob Peltier and Arthur Kaliev and couple other guys that just haven't really made it work in the NHL. So I think there's that kind of portion there where you got to say he's putting up good points for a AHL rookie, but he's not your average AHL rookie. It still feels like, is he going to be a Nick Payton type guy, a guy who could really dominate in the AHL and then might just be okay in the NHL? That's what I'm still worried about. But I think overall he's been a bit more productive than I expected in the AHL. So Still not 100% sold on him as an NHL player. I would have liked to see him get a couple more opportunities this year, but I think overall you got to be happy with his season. No question about it.
Yeah, like, again, the big debate we kind of got into on Twitter with a guy like a month or 6 weeks ago was like, this guy was like, you need to admit you were wrong on him for calling him a tweener. And it's like, well, this year he's just been a tweener. Like, he's probably a touch too good for the American League. He's not quite good enough to crack an Oilers lineup that, let's be honest, is pretty weak at the bottom parts. Like, if he came here and played really, really good hockey, he would be sticking around. They have Josh Szymanski sticking around over him right now, and Szymanski's a handful of years younger. Like, I just think, again, like, and maybe this is like a more general scouting sort of question for you, but like, age is important when you're looking at how guys are performing in different levels.
Yeah, like you look at a guy like Colin Graff, because he's kind of like the gold standard of recent college free agent signings. And I'm just going to check his age, but I remember him being like much younger than pretty much everybody else. Yeah, he's like a 2002 born player. So he's 23 years old now. He was 21 when he signed in the NHL. Like, that's a young college player finding his groove really quickly. With Quinn Hutson, he kind of figured out at 23. And that's a lot of development time for a young player. Like, that's the thing, you think about a guy who's 30 years old in the NHL. And a lot of those players, teams might be a little less interested in picking up at the trade deadline. Like, okay, how many more prime years do you have going forward? When you're looking at a prospect, you got to age down a little bit, but someone who's 21 or 22 having a really good season in college, that's good. A guy 23 or 24 in college, that's when you start to think, okay, like, is this actually, like, are you going to be able to translate this to the NHL? And that's something where very few of these college free agent signings have ever been very successful. I think Bobby McMahon is more of one of those outliers of a guy who was an older prospect that figured it out and then took the super long road to kind of getting to the NHL, because he had to go from ECHL to the AHL, back to the ECHL, AHL, and then suddenly a top six forward in the NHL. Part of that also is because Toronto doesn't have a ton of good depth either. But I think when you look at that, like, you're hoping you get the next Colin Graff, but then you're also hoping maybe you find a guy who could be a third line player, and that's what you're hoping for. But yeah, when you're 24 years old, you're kind of expecting these types of performances in the AHL, even if you don't have any previous pro experience before this season. You're 24. Some of those guys you're playing against have already been in the league 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm. So who's on the list?
College UFAs. Give us the breakdown.
Tyler wouldn't tell me before the show. I guessed a couple of names they were not on there.
Yeah, so like this is a list where you look at it here, and I think there's the clear favorite, the guy people are really excited about, is Tyson Gross. And it sounds like he's the one that's kind of listed as probably going to the Calgary Flames. I know there's at least double-digit teams that are interested in him, but the Flames have brought him to development camp in the past. He is from Alberta. It feels like it's a good fit. He's the one everyone's looking at. But again, you see the ages here. A lot of 23-year-olds, right? A couple 24-year-olds. Those are the guys that you expect to be like good right away in the NHL. And then you see a 21-year-old, a couple of them there. And I've never actually had to pronounce Hirokian.
Dylan Hirokian.
Yeah, because his brother plays for Dallas.
Yeah.
Very similar players. Like a guy like that, like that's when you start to get a little more intrigued. The 21-year-old, like, okay, he hasn't played a ton of college hockey, and there's already teams interested in having him turn pro. That's where things get really interesting. So, no Colin Graff this year, but you're still trying to go out there and find a guy that could at least be somewhat useful. And the one thing about college free agents, a lot of these guys are just like, I could go play pro. I could go be in the AHL next year. I might just go and just spend some more time in college. Ryan McAllister was a guy a couple of years ago out of Western Michigan that every team, the planet wanted. Goes to, I think it was Florida. Never figured out in the AHL. Ended up getting bought out of his contract this year. Probably could have benefited from playing in college. And if he stuck around kind of for the full tenure, he would have won a national title last year.
So when you look at that list, do you have that ranked from like he's a top guy to kind of down? You know what I mean?
No, it's all basically for the most part, alphabetical order there. Owen Michaels is out of place. But other than that, yeah, it's like, I think Gross is kind of the one everyone's looking at there. I know a lot of people are interested in Zach Stockfish. Jack Stockfish. He's quite big. I like Hirokorian, again, however you pronounce it. That dude just like one of the fastest players in the world. very aggressive. He's very much like his brother, who's been very good this year, probably in the 30-point range when the season's over with Dallas. Not too bad there. So TJ Hughes, I swear every year he's always been talked about as one of these players that could be part of this, and he's been very productive. Like literally, I think one of the very first times I ever went on DFO Live to talk about college free agents, like TJ Hughes was one of the first guys. Like he's been in this conversation for a few years now, but he is a senior this year, so finally going to have that figured out. And then Josh Ernest is actually another guy that feels like a player who's he's kind of almost like a Josh Szymanski, a guy who just likes spending a lot of time around the net. He's got a bit of edge to him there. 6'3", 216 pounds. Like he's added a lot of muscle to his game in the last 2 years. And even though he doesn't put up a ton of numbers, it definitely feels like he's a guy that a team's going to sign and say, like, we want you in the fourth line next season. So there's a couple guys like you're looking at here, like, there's some maybe bets. Like I do like the 2 goalies on this list. I know Lawton Zacker's been very good this year with Northeastern, and Max Lundgren's had to do a lot for Merrimack. But yeah, I don't think there's a Colin Graf this year.
For TJ Hughes, he's just a name that's come up a lot in our chat today, and people are like, you got to sign this guy.
He's been connected to the Oilers for a while.
Yeah. Is he good?
He's been very productive every single season. Like that's the thing. It's whether or not you look at him and say, like, okay, is he like he's been a goal scorer at every single level. He's been very productive. Like that season he had in the AJHL where he had like 66 goals, like unbelievable goal scorer. But he's not going to be using a goal scoring role in the NHL. So then does he have everything else to kind of be more of an impact player? He's very intense. He's going out there and trying to hit guys. He can play the power play. He can play the penalty kill. He's speedy. He's always looking the way to get to steal pucks. I think there are some scouts that are a little worried that defensively he doesn't offer too much, and that might not make him as valuable in a bottom 6 position. But I think overall, like in terms of pure offensive abilities, he is definitely one of the best guys you can get from the college free agent market. And I would be shocked if he's if we're talking about him on an AHL deal for next season. Like that's the type of guy where I expect him to get like an NHL deal, play some NHL games, hopefully push himself into that conversation there.
So just for clarification, I think for people in the chat, you can leave college whenever you want. You don't necessarily have to be a senior. It's just up to you to decide when you want to leave, right?
Yeah, so you get guys who leave after 1 season, guys who leave after 2, and others that say, like, I committed to 4 years here. I want to stay the 4 years here. And so you could leave anytime. You could leave mid-season. We saw that once with Jack LaFontaine when the Hurricanes really needed goaltending depth and then barely used him, so it didn't really make a ton of sense. But, yeah, you can sign whenever you want.
Last one, I guess I have for you. Are you good?
What do you think of Boston Buckburger? Any thoughts?
You're
on
disappointed
Boston?
He wasn't on the list.
Well, he was really good on Brooks as well a few years ago. He's gone to Denver and done pretty well. He's a junior still. I didn't watch him a ton this season, admittedly, but I'm pretty sure he made one of those all NCDC teams or whatever the division is.
So he's a really small defenseman. I think that's kind of the concern with him. He's 5'11", but like it feels like he's even smaller than that. Yeah, he's only 5'11", so he's never been big. He goes out there and outthinks everybody, and like, yeah, that's a name. Like I remember watching him with the Brooks Bandits, and it's like, wow, this guy's a really good playmaker, a really good passer, and he's been in the conversation a couple years of maybe he'd sign with pro. But talking to some scouts earlier this morning, they're like, yeah, like really good 3 years at Denver. It's a competitive team, and he's a big part of that. But they're not convinced he can handle the physicality, and he's not as good of enough skater. Like when you look at someone like Lane or Cole Hutson, like those guys are unbelievable skaters, and that's going to be able to open doors for them. But I remember I asked a couple scouts in his, I want to say it was 2023 when he was eligible for the NHL draft for the last time. And it's like, how would you rate his skating on a scale of 1 to 10? And I got like a 2.5 out of that one. So skating's never been a high point for him. He's not very physical, but the hockey sense is there. Obviously knows how to pass the puck. He's put up a ton of points. Will its NHL team take a chance on him? Maybe. Feels like he's one of those guys who just will be a little too small for defense.
Interesting. I thought he was bigger than that, but I am wrong.
Last one I got for you. We'll wrap up on the Oilers, then we'll let you go. Anyone in the Oilers system, whether it's like not even necessarily a guy playing in Bakersfield, someone anywhere who's kind of caught your eye this year and maybe impressed you?
Well, it's kind of an easy one to go and say Connor Unger, right? Because we've talked about him a lot. I'm going to go with Tommy Lafreniere. Guys scored a lot this year in Kamloops. It's a lot of fun. You know, that's a team with JP Hurlburt, one of the top prospects for this year's draft. Very exciting group, but it feels like even in the games where Kamloops are just struggling in their own zone, he's putting an effort every single night. So I really like that pick for them. Who else? I'm an Ike Howard fan. I hope he can get it all figured out in the NHL. But I also say Paul Fisher's impressed me a bit more with his puck playing this year. There's some points where I'm like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing at all whenever he's got the puck. Feels like he's improved that a little bit in the NCAA. So those are three names I'd give.
I will say, though, on Tommy Lafreniere and the Kamloops Blazers, just not quite good enough to win the BC division in the Western Hockey League.
Yes, the Vs are great, Liam.
The Vs significantly better than the Kamloops Blazers. Victoria, Kelowna, Prince George, Vancouver, I suppose. Way better.
Penticton's the best expansion team I've ever seen in the CHL. It's actually insane. And it's like, as you would probably be one of the first to admit, not a team full of stars, but it kind of reminds you of the Vegas Golden Knights in that first year in the NHL. Just a lot of players trying to prove people wrong. Hardest working team in the WHL.
It is funny. So Ryan Nevers is top line center on the Vs. 20-year-old player in the league, just signed for the Seattle Kraken, was not listed by any Western League team until the Vs came in. And now as a pro deal. Pretty crazy story, actually, when you put it all into perspective. But I will be there on Friday when they take on the Everett Silvertips. So I get to see Landon Dupont for the first time since he was like 13. So I think he's probably a bit better now.
Yeah, probably.
He's put up a few points since then. Good. Might go high in the draft next year. We'll see.
Maybe.
Steven, you're the man. We appreciate you popping on. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks so much, guys.
There you go. Stephen Ellis. Always fun to catch up with Mr. Ellis. That was brought to you by the Prairie Toyota dealers, a new friend on the show. It'll be interesting to see how the Oilers go about the college free agent thing, because I do think, like, over the last year, they've taken some stabs on guys, whether it's Hutson, and I know Szymanski wasn't a college free agent, but was a free agent prospect, we'll call him. They've taken some stabs on guys who I'd say were low ceiling, high floor. Like, I don't think Josh Szymanski's ever scoring 25 goals in the NHL.
No.
But I could see Josh Szymanski playing 300, 400 games in the NHL kind of thing and, like, carving out a bit of a niche career. I wonder if maybe this year, just because, again, if you're going to keep all these guys in the system, the Howards, Hudsons, you got Marhala, who's really impressed this year. Clattenburg came up, got a cup of coffee. Obviously, Jarventi's continued to look really good, and people who watch Condors games are loving how Jarventi's looking. Like, you kind of have this group. I'll include Doc and Szymanski in there as well, as like under 25, starting to get looks in the NHL. You kind of have all these guys who project to be bottom six players. I don't really include Ike Howard in that, obviously.
Because you don't think he'll be in the league.
Because I think he'll be out of the league in a year, yeah. But you look at all those other guys, they all project to be like bottom six-ish sort of pieces, right? Maybe you go and take stabs on like the TJ Hugheses of the world. Guys who maybe have a lower floor, but have a higher ceiling. Like, maybe that's where the organization will flip a little bit more this year, because you just have such a glut of guys who are the opposite of that.
Or all those players you listed were forwards. They don't have any defensemen.
Yeah.
Maybe they just go out and get some defensemen in this college, because it's basically Bo Akey, California, Paul Fisher's in the NCAA. Obviously, Stephen referenced him there. They need some defensemen, and I think that's the way they'll go. They don't need a goalie. They've got so many goaltenders right now, and rightfully so. You need about 20 to find one. Yeah. So I think if they're going to get any college player, I think they'll probably try and get some form of defenseman. I mean, Damian California looks like a really solid pickup for them by all accounts, and for what I've seen this season, he's got a lot better. And yeah, he was Asher Barnett. Thank you, Kyle. Another good player. He was at Michigan too. I can't imagine he's coming out next season. Find some defensemen if you can. I would like that.
Waz in the chat said, do the Bakersfield Condors deserve more love for how they've handled prospects? Meh.
I would say, I mean, I've said this all season. I think the organization has done such a good job of stepping up and making themselves better in every area. Unfortunately, it's not working currently in the NHL as consistently as we want, but I think they're right up there with the best in the league in their amateur scouting, pro scouting. You can obviously always debate that, but Bakersfield looks solid. I think the coaching staff has come a long way. There's a lot of connection through the organization now. And I think that's down to Jackson and Bowman finding that correlation's right. And it's impressive. Kali Lawson, what an addition he's been to this team.
To the staff, yeah.
To the staff, yeah. So, yeah, I like what they've done.
Based Ivy said Yevseyev, Fisher, Sundin are at the door knocking, though. Sure.
Yes, sure. I mean, I think Yevseyev and Sundin are good players. I don't know
if they're NHLers.
Yeah, Yevseyev's got a little bit better this season. I don't know if he'll ever come, to be honest.
The other name, too, is Berezhkin.
Well, yeah, he's a very curious player. He should have come last year.
I know,
he should have come. Bob Hartley, his Calgary instincts killed him.
Berezhkin last year scored 15 goals in 66 games as a 23-year-old. In his 24-year-old season, he only has 6.
Yeah, his offense has dried up big time. But I do think...
There are people on Twitter who are convinced he's the second best prospect in the system.
Howard being the first?
Yeah.
People on Twitter?
Yeah.
I know exactly what it is. I think it's good. I think the Oilers have proven they can bring players over what you could label as damaged and make them good players. And I think they could. I really do think they could. And I think it'd be well worth their time to get him over here.
The results from our poll what was the correct call? 67% of you, unsurprising, saying the 5-minute. We did give a 4-minute option. Honestly, if they had the option to do 4 minutes,
They should have been.
That probably would be correct. Minor, maybe not enough. Kicking a guy out, maybe too much. I mean, if Nate would have stayed in the game, though, someone would have been going after him, right?
Well, there was a bit
That's
of a
where things could have maybe gotten out of hand.
And I think people did get a bit upset that the Oilers didn't go after him. And I always understand that for sure. I think sometimes, too, you get a little bit worried about your teammate who just had his head taken off.
Yeah.
And also, too, I will say this. The Oilers were on the penalty kill. And their player most likely to do something also just got a knee to his head in Don Ellis.
Yeah.
I don't even know who else was on there. I think Wallman was on there, whoever else it was. It doesn't really matter. Sure, you would have liked to have seen it. Maybe they also thought, already on the penalty kill, putting yourself down again. It's a bit situational.
Tight game. You needed those 2 points so bad.
It's a very interesting situation. Just kind of final thought there, I guess. I don't think anyone's wrong. I think everyone's opinion is very valid in this argument.
This exists very much in the gray area.
Because I don't know what the answer is. I don't think the refs made the wrong call. As I say that, if it had been a 2, I would have been underwhelmed by the decision. But it is what it is. He's not going to get suspended. He doesn't deserve to be suspended. He served his punishment.
You know what it's time for, Liam?
Yes.
It's time for Is It Cake? Is It Cake is a presentation of GMC. It's truck month, and that means it's your opportunity to get into a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro Graphite Crew Cab at 0% financing for 72 months. You're getting a 2-inch factory lift with off-road suspension, a powerful 5.3-liter V8 engine, and a commanding presence that demands attention. Hurry in to go see the Sierra 1500 Pro Graphite Crew Cab in person and take advantage of truck month before it ends. Look at that. Do you like that red?
Oh, yeah.
If I were to gift you a GMC Sierra, what color would you want?
Red.
Really?
No. Copper and blue.
Wow. How interesting.
And I would get my name carved into the seats.
Right on the headrest, Liam.
Like Taylor Hall did.
Shout out to our friends at GMC and Truck Month. First one I got for you, Liam. Ready? Is It Cake?
Let's go.
Are the Oilers back? The Oilers are back.
I mean, I'll say it's cake for this reason, being defensively they've shown up for 2 straight games. Even when they went on their 3-game win streak, I don't think it was really
It's
that.
cake.
So yeah, I would say cake for now. But also, if they get absolutely blown out of the water tomorrow night, I would not be shocked at all.
I mean, Dallas is playing really damn good right now.
Yeah.
The Dallas Stars, and this is obviously more of a thing for tomorrow, but they're 9-0-1 in their last 10. Really good. So that's a little bit concerning. I will say the Oilers are back because of how well everything is currently breaking around them, too. These were 2 very good, convincing victories, beating Vegas on the road, beating Colorado on the road, even though there are moments in those games where it looks like they lose control and they weren't perfect hockey games. It's very hard to play a full 60 minutes against really good teams. That's just not really something that happens.
Yeah.
So the fact you win them both Their playoff odds, Liam, have gone up like 12% in the last
Weren't
week.
they like 80? What are they now?
They
Sorry.
were down at like the 72, 75 range.
Okay.
They're now up to 85.4. If they beat the Dallas Stars on Thursday, their playoff odds go up to 90%. And yesterday on the out-of-town scoreboard, they got some help. The Bruins beat the Kings in overtime. Mm-hmm. That's big. The Sharks lost last night. That's big because San Jose, again, kind of chasing the Oilers for the last playoff spot. The Blues lost in OT. That doesn't matter. Dallas did us a solid, beating the Golden Knights in regulation, scoring 2 goals back-to-back in the second period. And then the Mammoth lost. That doesn't really matter. The only one that sucks is that the Ducks beat the Jets because the Kraken also lost too. The Kraken put up 45 shots on the Predators. Crazy. Damn. Scored first, still lost the game. So now when you look at the Western Conference playoff picture, Edmonton is dead tied with the Vegas Golden Knights, and Edmonton owns the tiebreaker right now.
Regulation wins, correct?
Regulation.
And head-to-head.
And head-to-head. So Edmonton's in a pretty good spot. They have 2 more games still against the Golden Knights. If you split them, there's only 15 other games on the schedule, and you're dead tied with Vegas, who have lost 3 games in a row. They're struggling right now. So you're in a pretty good spot now with the Golden Knights all of a sudden, whereas a week ago you definitely weren't. You're now 5 points up on the Seattle Kraken. They have 2 games in hand on you, and they could take over the tiebreaker if they win those 2 games. But still, you're at the point now in your head-to-head with the Kraken where even if they win the games in hand, they're not going to catch you. They'll still be a point back. If the if the LA Kings win their game in hand, they're 3 points back at you. If San Jose wins all of their games in hand, all of them, all 3 of them, they're tied with you, don't own the tiebreaker.
Nice.
What these 2 wins have done is they've put the Oilers back in the driver's seat, and that should be giving this group a ton of confidence right now. 85.4% to make the playoffs on Money Puck. Having the confidence that they should have coming off these 2 wins, I will say it is absolutely cake. The Edmonton Oilers are back. Keep on riding the roller coaster, baby.
Casey in 780. I'll just call you Casey. So can you guys define back? I would say I think they're just playing more as a unit and a mature team. Like I feel like they've been so scrambly this entire season. Even the fact of such a small sample size, only 2 games, but they tied it together for 2 straight games against Colorado, who are the Cup favorites this year. I think it's fair to say. Obviously, a few guys didn't play yesterday too, and that's fine to say, but still a fairly strong lineup. And then a Vegas team, you go into Vegas and win as well. And there was moments of doubt yesterday, and you managed to overcome it. I haven't felt that about the Oilers most of the year against good teams. So that's how I would say they're back. And again, they might get absolutely blown up this next game.
They might, but I will say, as long as they beat, all you have to do now is beat St. Louis, and you went 3-1 on this road trip potentially. That's a massive win.
So what's their record since coming back? So I'll do it on my fingers. Lost to Anaheim. Mm-hmm. Oh, I should put that on this one. Lost to Anaheim. Beat LA 1-1. Lost to San Jose. Won a game.
Beat Ottawa.
Lost to Carolina. Beat Colorado. Beat Vegas.
4-3 since coming back.
4-3, and they need to be 14-8-1.
Yeah, I mean, it depends
what you get to that many points.
What do you want to set the mark to?
Well, I was just going off what Steve Peters did that graphic, right? So that was to get to 93.
So they're still a touch off that pace. 4 out of every 7. You probably need to be winning 4 out of every. You need to win 8 of every 12. So they're not quite on that pace. They're on pace to win 8 of 14.
Win streak, 2 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and you can keep racking up wins here. Like, there's no reason why you can't beat the Dallas Stars.
Yeah,
you're the Edmonton Oilers. Beat the Dallas Stars all the time. Edmonton is now the best goal differential in the Pacific Division again, by the way.
Congrats.
+10. I know they held that mark for a little bit, but that's, I think, again, a pretty important number to look at here is like Anaheim's first in the division. They're -7 on the season. They've allowed more goals than the Oilers, and they've played 1 less game. That's crazy. Even Vegas. Like, Vegas in the goals against lately has really been falling off. There's no guarantee that Vegas, like we talked about San Jose, how if San Jose wins all their games in hand, they're going to be tied with the Oilers, but Edmonton will own the tiebreaker. There's a world where San Jose actually wins. There's a world where they could own the tiebreaker over Vegas if they win their games in hand.
San Jose?
Yeah.
Get Vegas on the other side.
Well, and that's the other thing you've kind of done here is like we talk about how hard it is to like gain ground with the existence of the loser point, and like we'll talk about Winnipeg in a second, but like part of the reason Winnipeg's probably screwed, even if the numbers aren't all that bad, is you need to jump so many teams, and there's head-to-head games, and there's the loser point. It's so difficult to do that. But what's going to work in the Oilers' favor is now that Vegas is below you, Seattle's below you, LA, San Jose, all these teams are below you even if they win their games in hand. For you to fall back through all those teams would take quite the collapse, if we're being honest.
Totally. Yeah.
So let me ask you another one. The Seattle Kraken have lost 3 in a row. I'm going to say the Seattle Kraken are going to miss the playoffs. Is it cake or is it not cake?
Oh, let me have a quick look.
They're tied with LA right now, but they have a game in hand on the Kings. If San Jose wins their game in hand, they're going to leapfrog Seattle now. You also have Nashville, who's only a point back. Winnipeg's 5 back.
I would like to see San Jose make the playoffs.
Would be pretty fun.
So I will say it is cake that they miss, right? So yes, it is cake they miss.
Yeah, you're saying
because I want San Jose to make it. I think they're a great story, and I think Macklin Zelebrini deserves the MVP, and the only way he gets it is if San Jose make the playoffs.
that would be something. If he goes on a crazy run here, they sneak in, he would absolutely win the MVP. Can I give you just like a hear me out kind of thing here?
Please, because quite frankly, as long as the Oilers make it, I don't care who else gets in.
Yeah, that's also fair. Are we writing off Winnipeg too early?
No. They've been brutal all year. They're just going to fall apart here in a couple of games and be like, see you later.
But they're a team that's always good for one weird hot streak a year, and they haven't gotten it yet.
That's true. Did they see you two this year? Or?
Oh, yeah, one of those things that traditionally will turn around an average team.
The Winnipeg Jets went to their local pizza establishment, had pizza together, and all of a sudden won 20 games in a row. How did that happen? Pink Floyd was playing in the background. They'll be dropping the puck for game 1 of the playoffs.
It'll be some bullshit like that, yeah.
Stupid.
But I'm looking at their schedule, and this doesn't come until later. It's in April. They play Seattle one more time.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I did see that. It's like April something, right?
April 6th. So if they were to beat Seattle in that head-to-head, and again, this is a hear me out kind of exercise. I know I'm going through a lot of what-ifs. They beat Seattle in that head-to-head. You're telling me that in their other 18 games, they can't play 3 points better than the Seattle Kraken?
Yeah. They haven't done it all year.
I'm just saying it doesn't feel as impossible as...
No, it's not.
Everyone's written them off. I don't think they deserve to be written off.
You're more right than I am, for sure. I'm being a little bit of a...
Some notable...
with it, but I just don't see it. I think, again, they've got a bit too much against them.
Tankathon says that Winnipeg has 7 tough opponents left on their schedule. They play Colorado 3 times. That sucks. That'll be legitimately hard for them to do. They play Colorado 3 times, Dallas once, Pittsburgh once, Boston once, and Columbus once. Those are their tough opponents, according to Tankathon. Seattle gets Colorado twice, so just as difficult. They get Tampa one more time. They have to play Buffalo, Minnesota, and Columbus. So that right there is, they play Tampa twice, Colorado twice. They play 7 tough games down the stretch. They also do, I should say.
Maybe them. I hope there's a race.
And in the games that they count as easy, by the way, 2 of them for Seattle are against Florida. They're counting Winnipeg as an easy game, which I don't think it is. They got to play Nashville again. Winnipeg still has head-to-heads against San Jose and Nashville. So, if you're Winnipeg, you win your head-to-head against Nashville, you're only 2 back of them with a game in hand. You win your head-to-head against the Sharks, you're 2 back of them. Granted, they have a game in hand. I don't know, man. I think the door might be here for Winnipeg. I'm not writing off the Jets.
Well, I'll bring back some information. A couple of the scouts I'm with are Winnipeg Jets fans, so I'll get the temperature. Okay. I'll let you know on Monday. I know one of them will be happy Logan Stanley's gone. I'll tell you that much.
Next one I got for you. Some news today in the NHL.
Was it?
Nick Schmaltz.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see what the figure was. Sorry.
What do you think it was? 8-year deal.
In today's NHL, back in my day, that would have been a $5 million winger. Today, easily 9.
8 by 8 for Nick Schmaltz. I'm gonna go ahead and say good deal for Utah. Cake or not cake?
I will also say, let me just check here quickly. I'll say cake is probably a good deal too. So the way I try and measure contracts for the most part is point per $100,000. So he's typically a 60-point player over the last few years of his career. That's now inflating a little bit because of obviously the inflation in cap.
And he's having a great
He's
season.
having a great season. He'll probably get 75 points at
Probably
least.
gets right around there. Yep.
Utah's, how long was it? 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
They already have a ton of guys. Yeah, I think that's a good deal. They actually, the next major signing they have to make, no one. I mean, like Paterka signed till 2030, Clayton Keller's 2029, Gunther's 2033, Schmaltz 2034. He will be 38 by the time that's done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't mind that deal. It's not too bad.
I think it's fine for Utah. They have $25 million in cap space. So now with this deal, it goes to, they basically have $18 million in cap space now, actually.
Yeah.
And that's with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 forwards signed. Basically, they're 9 best forwards. They got to get Barrett Hayton done. On the blue line, they have 5 guys already signed, and you got the young kids coming up. Like, that forward group they're going to add Daniil Boot next year. They're going to add, who's the big Russian defenseman that they have? Simashev, Maverick Lamoureux. Like, they still have some young players coming through the system. So, like,
Ginla.
Tisha Ginla, they can absolutely, Cole Baudouin.
Yeah.
They can absolutely afford to, like, give an extra $1 million if they feel it's a bit of an overpay for a guy like Schmaltz, although Schmaltz probably gets that on the open market.
A full no move, by the way. People asking.
They can go that little bit extra for a guy like Schmaltz because their core's locked up. They have the wiggle room. Giddy up, go for it. You got a guy who wants to be there, sign him. I think it's a great deal for Utah. It's obviously a great deal for Nick Schmaltz as well, who's going to put $64 million in his jeans. And listen, he's a perennial, like these are his last, including this season, which is a career high for him. 23 goals, 22 goals, 22 goals, 20 goals. This year he's got 24. Yeah. Pencil him in, lock him in for middle 6 minutes and 24 goals. And 20-plus goals, I should say.
It's pretty good. I think, too, it's probably not exactly the same because he's a bit older. But when Hyman signed, they were probably like, oh, why would you sign him to that contract?
There were Oilers fans who were pissed the Oilers gave Hyman 7 years.
And then eventually the guy just becomes a consistent scorer for you and produces almost every night, and you don't even think about it.
He's 30 years old, so maybe the 8-year deal is a touch concerning there.
Yeah, maybe he could have gone 6. But, I mean, at the end of the day, like, half these guys just say, okay, I'm done. I'm 36. Put my contract in LTIR and just send me the checks every couple of months.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, whatever.
This also, I think, ties into something I wanted to bring up a few days ago. It was a number of days ago now. Alan Walsh, the NHL agent, he tweeted this out. Analyzing NHL hockey-related revenue projections and the current revenue slack that exists in the system, hearing the NHL is projecting a salary cap upper limit of approximately $123 million
Next season?
by 2028.
Just as McDavid leaves.
Yeah. We're currently at 95.5. That's almost a $30 million rise of the cap within the next 3 years. That's going to be motivating a lot of teams to just say, screw it, let's lock up our guy and keep him in tow, which is going to make this offseason very interesting. I'm going to read you the top 10 names of this year's free agent class, sorted by the points they've produced.
And you want me to just listen?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if you wanted me to, like, who do you want? How much are they going to get paid?
It's usually how the show works.
Okay.
Number 1 is Darren Radish of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
My God.
A 29-year-old defenseman who's having an out-of-nowhere good season. He is the number 1 free agent by points this year.
58, by the way. He's over a point per game defenseman.
Crazy. Number 2 is Alex Tuck. Number 3 is Charlie Coyle.
Jesus.
Who somehow has 51 points this year.
I mean, again, he's a good player.
Yeah.
If he's number 3.
Number 4 is Alex Ovechkin.
Okay. So
He's just going to Russia.
So number 4 is Anthony Mantha.
No, so number 4 is basically Anthony Mantha. The next guy is Evgeny Malkin, who's probably doing the Pittsburgh or I'm going home thing. Mm-hmm. John Carlson's next. Then Marcus Johansson. Then Claude Giroux. Matt Zuccarello. And name number 10, if you take out Ovi, is Patrick Kane. There's nobody. We're talking about the Oilers having, $10, $11 million in cap space. I mean, do you just throw it all at Alex Tuck? He might not even make it to market. The vibes are so good in Buffalo. Although if he's smart, he's the only impact forward on the list.
Who's his agent, Aaron? Can you click on Alex Tuck there for me?
Brian and Scott Bartlett, yeah.
Okay. They got some names.
You want to know what team they have the most players with?
The Oilers?
5 Oilers are represented by these guys.
I believe they're based in Edmonton. Who do they have? Savoie?
I don't know if they're based in Edmonton or not, but
Scott. I know. I've seen them. I've seen them at the rink quite a bit.
Connor Murphy, Ty Emberson, Ike Howard, Alec Regula, and Matt Tompkins.
What? Okay, name those players again. Connor Murphy, Alec Regula, Matt Tompkins, and Ty Emberson. And what was the other one?
Ike Howard.
So 3 of them are also part of the Chicago Blackhawks organization at some point over the last few years.
Also,
Tompkins
future
plays
Oiler Bobby McMahon.
I mean,
Bobby McMahon might be like legitimately one of the best UFAs on the market this year.
Yeah, he really will be.
I'm surprised he wasn't on that list of points, but I guess his point production's not super high.
Aaron, you could correct me if I'm wrong, because I've not loved the league the last few years. But free agency in the NBA is pretty null in the sense of like the top players don't make it there, right? They just get traded.
For the most part, they just all sign deals and then they just complain and bitch and ask to be traded, demand to be traded. And then that's how they do it. They all get their money, they get their bag, and it's just like, I mean, James Harden, he signs a deal 6 months later and he wants
so
out, and he gets out every single time.
I think the NHL is just becoming the NBA in front of our eyes. Like right under our noses. No one gives a shit about first-round picks anymore. They are essentially valueless, I would think. The fact, again, we don't like the Jason Dickinson. Some people don't like it because it was a first-round pick. Who cares? Nicholas Waugh was a first-round pick this year. It was a couple of years ago. They talked about Nick Dowd going for a first-round pick. They're just like, hey, I need a player. I will give you my pick. And now no one is making it to free agency because there's so much money to go around. And they'd rather just trade guys to gain more assets. We're in the NBA era, and I will say, the NBA, when this all started, was fucking awesome. It was so good.
So you think we're going to see a ton of big trades now?
I think so. That is my suspicion. And I know it didn't start at the deadline. Man, there's so much money. Like, there was the article, was it LeBron? He was talking about Austin Matthews the other day.
Yeah.
If Austin Matthews asks out of Toronto, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, and I know this is easier said than done, but you throw everything you have to get Austin Matthews. Yep. And it's the same thing if McDavid becomes available. The Oilers, the assets they'll get will be insane. But you need to get ahead of it and get that guy. And I know you've been on Forsberg a lot of the year, and I'm sure there'll be other players that come up. But I think we're in the NBA era. And Doug is right for once. The NBA does a lot of things right. Sorry, I thought he said it has to fix a lot of things. They have to fix a lot of things. They used to do a lot of things right.
Yeah.
But we're in the NBA era. What do you think of that?
I'm a guy who said Brady Tkachuk is going to get traded, and that's looking good. Jason Robertson might get traded this summer. We've talked about this a lot where, during the flat cap era, everyone had assets, but no one had cap space. Yeah. And that really sort of fudged the market here. Now we're at a point where everyone has cap space, but no one's going to have assets. And I think that's going to lead to, assets being at a premium a little bit.
So let's just go through this really quickly. Potentially available this offseason. If things go really badly, as they look to be, and the direction goes polar, there's not a 0% chance Austin Matthews isn't available.
I'd say there's
via trade.
Yeah, I would say there's a pretty good chance he's available by trade.
Robert Thomas, I think, is clearly available. Kyrou, Jason Robertson, Forsberg, Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a couple other guys I'm not even thinking of off the top of my head.
What's New Jersey going to do?
What are the Devils going to do?
Nico Hischier has one more year on his deal. Fuck, he'd be a good Oiler.
Yeah, he would be a great Oiler. And even, if you want to go, a little bit lower down the lineup, if Seattle really does have interest in moving someone like Shane Wright, he's not a bad player and he's still very young.
If they flame out early, do they look at McCann?
How heavy do the Rangers go this offseason since they're could be on the block? Retooling? I think it could be very interesting. I think free agency will be horrendous. I want that to go on the record.
But we might see some big trades.
I think we might see some trades.
We might not be able to take vacation this summer. It might be some big trades.
I'm getting married. Someone's got just keep it. It'll
be fine. She'll understand. Okay. You know what we haven't done in a while, and I want to get into it? we haven't done what's trending in a bit.
Yeah, we haven't. I mean,
Last night was a genuinely insane day in the sporting world. Max Crosby got traded to Baltimore like a week ago. And then last night it came out that the Ravens have backed out of the trade.
Yeah, and then they got Trey Hendrickson this morning.
So the
Cincinnati.
hockey equivalent to this would be like if a team traded for Rasmus Dahlin,
Yeah.
and then 5 days later, before the trade becomes official, they put their hand up and say, psych, we don't want Rasmus Dahlin because we can sign whoever another great defenseman is as a free agent and not give up the assets. That's basically what happened.
Yeah, I guess he failed his medical or physical, whatever they're
But
called.
he had surgery like a month and a half or 2 months ago, and everyone knew he had it. So it's like you knew making the trade he wasn't healthy.
And also, too, maybe this is my own speculation. I feel like most NFL players would fail a physical and medical because they just get beat up every single game. Like, there's no way any of those players are healthy. They all have something attached to them. And also, too, like, if you're the Ravens, I just push it through. It's up to you if he fails a medical or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
we
must have
Max
saw
Crosby.
something in how he's
That's-
recovering from surgery.
Yeah.
I'm calling such bull on that physical thing, and
Me
the
too.
Ravens have done this with 2 other guys.
Oh, really?
This in previous, maybe it was either free agency or a trade, where they waited for the physical. And don't hate the player, hate the game that you can do this type thing. Like, and especially that you hold up other teams from maybe acquiring Crosby. They go spend their money for a couple days, and now you pull it back. They get Hendrickson. They keep their 2 first-round picks. It's greasy, it's gross, but they're allowed to do it. But yeah,
Weird. I can't wait till he's a Lion, though, next week.
Will Compton was bitching about this on Twitter. He said back in 2018, Ravens signed Ryan Grant to a big
that
deal.
was it.
Michael Crabtree becomes available. Ryan Grant, who had never missed a game in his career, failed his physical, and then they just got Michael Crabtree the next day.
He wasn't that good for them at all.
No, he was
I
terrible.
remember. Brian Grant, I don't remember him. Yeah, it is. It's kind of cheating.
It
But-
seems, super
I think the Ravens have really fallen down the depth chart of, like, people don't like them.
premier organizations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also last night, Bam Adebayo put up the second most points a player's ever put up in an NBA game. He scored 83 or 84 points.
83.
83 points.
Aaron
and
doesn't like it.
I will go full scorched earth. That is such bullshit. And yes, you can. There is the Kobe dynamic to it that he had 81 and all this, but the Heat are taking on the Washington Wizards, the 15-win Washington Wizards. They were up 25 with 2 minutes remaining, and then they start intentionally fouling so that the Heat can get the ball, give it right to Bam. He's either getting hacked or fouled, whatever. He set an NBA record, 43 free throw attempts, beating Dwight Howard in this process. Yeah, it's cool, man, but when it's so stat padded, and that if you didn't do that stuff in the final 2 minutes of the game, it would be, to me, celebrated. That's unbelievable. We're in fantasy basketball playoffs right now. That's massive for a guy for Bam Adebayo, but no, it doesn't count in yes, it does, and it will go down in the history books. That is such bull. The NBA is not like it used to be, Liam.
No.
I think 20 years from now, no one will remember how many of them are free throws.
But the funny part about the Dwight Howard thing is that he had the record is because he was so bad at free throws.
Hack-a-Shaq
That they
mentality
just
back
threw
in
him
the
on the
day.
line because that's how they would win. I don't love discrediting records, but I also completely understand why this one is being frowned upon. Also, hilarious that we still have no footage of Will scoring 100 points.
Nope.
We got a piece of paper, though.
Yeah. Also, too, I went and looked. So Kobe Bryant was 81 points against the
Against the
Raptors.
Raps.
He missed 2 free throws in that game, but only took 20.
Okay.
So
Now,
it's
he also
interesting.
took 8 million shots in that.
Yeah,
he
but
did.
that's Kobe, baby. Shoot or
But
shoot.
he always shot. Like, that's what he did.
Yeah.
Like, I
And
don't
they
love to discredit it. Again, good for Bam, I guess. But again, the NBA just sucks right now.
Yeah, the hockey equivalent of this in the Bam Adebayo thing.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
This would be like if on Sam Gagne's 8-point night,
Yeah.
he scored on 3 penalty shots and had 4 power play points, right?
They emptied the net.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
totally.
A player puts up 8 points in an 8 5 win.
Yeah.
And like the last 2 are empty netters. He has a penalty shot and 3 other power play points. Like he did it, but it wasn't like a dominant, like, wow, this guy's making every shot kind of thing.
Yeah. Too bad. Good for him, though. Well done. Bam, I guess.
Anything else that I missed in what's trending?
Sorry, the one funny thing about the Bam thing, though, is that he didn't even get a double-double in a game.
Yeah, if you had his over-under for rebounds was 9.5 or something.
Got 9.
Can you imagine being the guy who's like, man, I really like Bam's rebound line tonight. Guy puts up 83 points and only has 9 boards.
I saw one guy comment on someone who's like had under 23.5 for Bam. He put up 83.
It's done in the first quarter.
Italy beat the United States.
That was the other one I wanted to hit on.
'Kay.
Not only did Italy beat the United States in the World Baseball Classic yesterday, they were up 8-0 in this baseball game, and there is some hilarious stuff coming out about Team USA.
Yeah.
First off, hockey equivalent. This would be like if Canada lost to Latvia in the Olympics, but also went down 5-0 in the hockey game. Like this wasn't just like a pitcher or goalie has an insane game and it's like, wow, they can't touch him, and they squeak out a 1-0 win. It was belt to ass for like 5 innings. Crazy.
And also, I think you spoke about this before the show, and I saw it on Twitter. The US thought they had already qualified, but haven't.
So their manager, Mark DeRosa, was basically like, oh, yeah, like, we don't need to win this game because we're already through. But that's just not true. They can absolutely miss they could knock it out of the group stage in the World Baseball Classic, which would be insane.
Who do they play next?
So the next game for Team USA, I think they're done.
It's Mexico taking on
Italy.
right now. I think it's like 1:30 or something.
So if Mexico win, do they knock out the US?
I don't know what I need to double check it, but there's something where like it's not just a matter of who wins. They need a very specific score now. So USA will advance if Italy wins, or if Mexico allows 6+ runs, or if Italy allows 5+ runs. Mexico advances with a win and allowing 5 runs or fewer. Italy advances with a win or allowing 4 runs or fewer. It's insane how fucked up the World Baseball Classic is now.
Let's bet the over. That's just fun.
I can't believe the US has put themselves in a spot.
Canada is playing Cuba right now. If Canada wins, they're on to the next round, I believe.
Cool. A lot of random ass. Like how
that game just started, and Canada blew a chance with the bases loaded in the top of the first.
How does the Czech Republic have a team?
With a guy who's just an electrician who only throws 80 miles an hour, and he threw 4.5 scoreless innings at the Tokyo Dome.
Where is this thing?
I texted my buddy Eli, who's an electrician. I said, "And you can't lock in for our beer league hockey. We have an electrician who's going to Tokyo and pitching in front of 80,000 people in the fucking Tokyo Dome, and you give up 7 at CAC. Unbelievable. My beer league team won 13-7 the other day.
Wow. Baseball?
No, that was hockey.
Oh.
13-7 in a hockey game, Liam. And the games are only 45 minutes long. There was a goal every 2 minutes.
Jesus.
Pretty fun.
Are you a reality TV fan besides Big Brother?
Only Big Brother.
So I have to admit something to the audience. To everyone in this room. To the audience.
There you go, bud.
My fiance, everyone at work has been watching this show called Love is Blind.
Mm-hmm.
And I started watching it.
No.
What a joke.
Oh.
What an absolute joke of a show. If you've ever thought about watching this, don't. It's awful. The people on it, bad people. And I'll tell you something, Love is not blind. No one gets married at the end. Everyone hates each other. They all break up. It's the stupidest show. But I had to watch it.
And you don't like it?
No, I can't watch it. And now there's all this other stuff. It's just so bad. So bad. If you've watched it, let me know how bad it is. Love is not blind. Like, it's just a stupid concept.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the idea, but it's stupid. Also, great episode of The Rookie yesterday.
Oh, a new one?
Great episode of The Rookie.
Okay.
Yesterday, check it out. I've also been watching, what's the other show?
What crazy situation did they get into?
So they go to the...
How'd they get out of it in just 22 minutes?
Hey, it's a 58-minute show.
You're right, sorry.
They go to this like mental hospital that has been shut down, and these people are going to clean, and there's like a chemical explosion, and it messes with people's brains, and they become like
This show sounds like a joke.
It's so good. It
That
was
I'm in
an
on.
intense episode. So check that out.
Is that a standard storyline in The Rookie?
No, it's never been like that before.
No zombies before?
No, typically
Feels
no
like they're
zombies.
reaching.
No, this was a good episode. It
Yeah.
was a good one. And
Does Fillion come through at the end of the day and save it?
well,
Wrap it up in a neat little bow?
yeah, he's a big part of it.
Yeah.
There's a few.
Are there some hijinks along the way? Couple chuckles?
No
No, dead
chuckles.
serious.
Yeah, pretty big episode.
zombies are
Sorry
not
for the
allowed.
spoilers. Sorry.
Liam and Chad, do you have a guilt-free like reality TV show that you have watched that you're embarrassed to share that you've watched that you liked?
Well, I'm embarrassed that I watched it. I didn't like it, and that would be Love is Blind.
Yeah.
The other ones I've never really gotten in on.
I
Big
watched-
Brother, I like Big Brother.
Yeah, I like Big
I watched
Brother.
the last season of Love Island. I had never watched it, and I was like, "Fuck, I get why people watch
I
this.
just
This is
like
so
those
stupid."
ones. I'm just not into those ones.
Yeah, I shouldn't have shared that.
All right. Good show. You're off for the next 2 days.
Yeah, I'm in Penticton tomorrow. Well, I go leave tonight. I'm back Saturday evening. CSSHL U15 Prep Championships, which is at playoffs.
That sounds awesome.
It actually will be really fun. Top players there. And then I get to watch, Penticton versus Everett on Friday night, my first V's game. So that'd be cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
Well, you have fun.
Thank you.
Last thing in what's trending. Why did every media member in Edmonton interview Shaq today except for us?
So here's
He
a little
works for
insight.
our company and no one told us he was here?
Yeah, under our umbrella,
Of Better Collective.
Shaquille O'Neal is technically a coworker. When we were in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, I guess, a couple of years ago,
We did shows from his studio.
we did shows from Shaq's studio. And no one thought to mention hey, Shaq's coming. I guess he was at a hookah bar in Short Park yesterday. It's right by my house. I'm there all the time. I'm never there. But I would have gone if I had known.
That Shaq was there by himself.
Was it just him? I don't know.
He was just there with a guy. I don't know.
Damn, it's kind of
Anyways, everyone interviewed Shaq today except us. So shout out to everybody else, I guess.
Yeah.
What would we have even asked him?
What's it like being so tall? I remember once there was a show I watched where Shaquille O'Neal had all these kids who were overweight and he helped them slim down.
Okay.
And that was my first impression of Shaq. Because that was when I lived here in 2007. That was a show in the summer. There was no basketball or anything. And that's how I knew who Shaq was.
Did you guys ever watch Shaq Versus? He had his own show where he would take on other athletes or celebrities, people and whatnot in their sport or whatever. Great program. I would have asked which of your many products you have marketed did you actually use in your day to day, and I bet it's 0.
Yeah,
But
probably.
he'd give you some all of them.
All of them.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Everybody in the YouTube, thank you. We got Jeff Merrick. Landon Ferraro's going to swing by later on this week. Got a lot of great guests popping in. So anyways, thank you for tuning in. This was fun. We will see you all. Oh, and shout out to our friend Clayton, by the way, who won our auction. We're going to go have lunch with Clayton downstairs. He drove in from Wandering River. Yeah? Yeah, I got that right. So we're going to go have lunch with Clayton. He was very generous. Made a big donation to Brunch for Ben, so we raised some money for a good cause. Now he gets to go have lunch with us.
There he
Clayton.
is.
Hey, Clayton. Can't show your Oilers jersey on the screen, though,
That's
because
okay.
we'll get sued.
No logos.
No
We're good.
logos. All right, okay, enjoy your Wednesday, everybody. Happy hump day. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Mountain Oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Every Day, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.